Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to submit paperwork to the office using DocuSign transaction rooms. DocuSign has done a few updates since I first made our first video, so I'm going to do another one and hopefully that will help clarify things a bit. So I'm going to start by going to DocuSign, and that's just going to be account.docusign.com. You can also go to docusign.net and that will take you there. And I'm just going to log in. This is going to take me to my DocuSign e-signature account. So once I'm in my e-signature account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my little profile icon and just go to switch to rooms to toggle to my linked transaction room account. Normally when you log in, it almost always takes you to your e-signature account and then you'll end up going to transaction rooms. So now that I'm in transaction rooms, in order to create a new room, I'm going to have to click on rooms and it's going to show me all my active rooms. And then I'm going to just go to new to create a new room for my new listing. So I'm going to put in, for room name, my property address, and I'm going to put my client's name in brackets. You can put whatever you want under room name, but I prefer to do address and then client's name. You won't have room owner or office. That will be default set to you and set to your office. So now if I want, I'm going to use a template. For this situation, I'm not going to use a template just so that I can show you how to add tasks. And you're going to select your role. Your role is probably going to be real estate agent or real estate broker. And then you're going to choose your side. So I'm going to start off by creating a new listing. So I'm going to click on list side. And it's going to ask for an MLS number. So by this point, I'm assuming if I have a new listing, I've already uploaded to MLS. So I'm going to put in my MLS number. If it's an exclusive listing, you're just going to put EXC for exclusive. If you don't know the MLS number yet, you can put anything in this, but we do prefer you to have an MLS number. Finally, I'm going to want to repeat my address and just a postal code. Okay. And then for under client customer, I'm just going to put my client's name and my client's email address. Now, if you don't want to give us your client contact information, that's fine. You can just put your own email address here. The reason why we ask for your client and customer email address is so that when the deal's done, we can email them asking for them to fill out a quick survey and write a testimonial on the website of your choice. By default, it's normally Google, but if you would like it to be directed somewhere else, we can do that too. Finally, you can upload a photo. It's not necessary, but you can upload a photo of the listing or your client if you want here. So once that's all done, I'm just going to press save and it's going to take me into the room. Okay, so the room has a series of tabs here. The first tab is your details tab. This is going to be like your deal sheet or your cover page. Because we're doing a new listing, a lot of this information we won't be able to fill out right away, but to fill out what we can, we're just going to press edit. And then it's just a matter of tabbing through and filling out what we have. Trade number you don't have to worry about, that's for admin. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to put the listing date, which is today, the expiry date, which I'm going to assume is 3 months from now, and I'm going to put in the listing price. You're not going to know if there's multiple offers yet. The rest of this you're obviously not going to know. If you are representing the buyer and you do have all this at hand, please make sure to fill this out. You're going to fill out the details tab instead of a deal sheet. Now, if you still want to fill out a deal sheet by hand and scan it and upload it, you can, but this might be an easier alternative. So admin will only be asking for a deal sheet if your details tab has not been filled out by the time the property you're submitting your paperwork. So I find it's easier to fill this out as you go, but once the property is filled, make sure it's all filled out. So when you're done editing the information, you're just going to press save, and we're going to go into the next tab, which is going to be tasks. So tasks are going to tell us what forms are required. So I'm just going to, in order to add a task, I'm going to go to actions and attach task list. Notice I'm not going to do add. Add would be creating your own, and we're going to attach task lists that admin has already created for us and are pre-programmed. So we want to always make sure that we do actions and attach task list. So I'm going to do a new listing, and I'm going to attach the task list that admin has already programmed for me. So once again, that's actions, attach task list. And then I'm going to go into documents, and we can see that the tasks now have little dots all around them. And this is just telling us what the documents are going to look like, or which documents are required. Now, if you already know what documents are required and you don't need it broken down, you can always go to tasks, and instead of attaching the new listing, you can just do quick listing submit. That task is going to look a little bit different. It's just going to be one square where you can upload all the documents into one go. You'd probably want to use this if you have a tendency to just scan everything into one file or save everything in one file. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to minimize that, and I'm going to upload them one by one. So when it's time to upload my documents, we can do this a couple of ways. The first way is under Documents, I'm going to press Add, and I can upload from my computer, Dropbox, Google Drive. So I'm going to add from my computer, and I'm going to upload the document I want. I can also upload all my documents, but in this case, I'm just going to do one at a time. Any document I add this way is going to go to the bottom of my page. And now what I'm going to be able to do is just drag and drop it into the box like so. There we go. The other way we can upload a document is by clicking on the task and then pressing Upload New Document. And then I'm just going to be able to upload it and then assign. Like that. There we go. Finally, the other way we can do it is if we add from computer, we're just going to add the other two here. So if I've added a bunch of documents down here, if I right click on my document, I can also just assign to a task list. So I was in promo, so I'm going to assign it to my promo sheet. And we can go that way. And we can also drag and drop. So sometimes right-clicking works a little bit better than dragging and dropping, especially if you have a lot of documents or you're on a laptop and dragging and dropping can be a bit difficult. One of the things that I should point out is the lockbox authorization form is in gray as opposed to red like the other ones. This doesn't necessarily mean that the lockbox form is optional, though that's what the gray means. It's an optional form. We're making it optional in case you have a concierge and you don't have a lockbox set up or it's go direct. So once you've submitted all your forms and you put all your forms into your transaction room, you're going to see that they've all turned blue, but up here under new listing, it hasn't turned blue yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to submit the entire task list. So I'm going to go Actions, Submit Task List, and then I'm going to choose which task list I'm submitting, and I'm going to submit it. Now if we go back to documents, we can see this turns blue. By submitting it this way, we're just making sure that the front desk or the admin staff gets notified. If you don't press that submit button, yes, they can see the documents, but they might not necessarily be notified right away, and it might be a few days for it to get to them. Now, one of the other steps that you're going to have to do if and only if it's a new listing is if we're going to go to people, we can see here all the admin staff that are here that can see the documents in your room, but we notice that front desk isn't here. Because the front desk are the ones that book and confirm your appointments, they're going to need to be notified when there's a new listing. So we're going to add front desk to the room, and we're going to have to manually add the front desk every time we're submitting a new listing. If we're submitting an offer, agreement of purchase and sale, we don't need to add the front desk. So if it's a buyer, we don't, but if you're representing the seller and it's a new listing, you always have to add the front desk. So I'm going to add her by going to invite, and it's going to say invite to room. I'm just going to click the address book here, and I'm going to start typing in front desk and then press enter. So then it's just going to come up. I'm going to check front desk off and select add selected. Finally, we're going to choose a transaction side, which will be list side, and the role. The role won't matter too much, but I always end up doing transaction coordinator. And then we're just going to press invite. And that's how you're going to be adding front desk to the room. So we know that we've done the right thing here once we've added front desk in the room, and these are all blue, including blue up here. So what we're going to be looking for at this point, our job is done, but hopefully rather quickly we'll see when this turns green. That means front desk has looked over our documents and approved them. So just to give you an idea of what that's going to look like, I'm just going to go ahead and approve the documents for myself. So when it's all turned green here, that means the front desk has looked over our documents, have seen that everything's been signed properly, and they're inputting the showing instructions, and showings have started on my listing. Now, if by chance it turns red, so I'll just turn red right here for a moment. We're going to get a notification that says correction required. If a correction is required, you will be emailed as well through DocuSign, and it's going to say correction required, and it's going to tell you what the reason is. You can also view the reason for the correction, but if you go to history, and we can see who declined the document, and there's a little speech bubble here. So if I click that, I'll be able to see the reason why. This will also be emailed to you, but in case you ever want to go check back. So if this happens, it's a pretty simple fix. I can either remove this document from the task list, and then I can just add another one and upload a new document. And then just put it back in. And then it's the same thing. Admin will review it, it'll turn green, and hopefully it's all approved. So ideally you want everything green. And that's it for submitting paperwork to the office. Thank you.